Hello, all. A very warm good evening and welcome to the PSAI Talk Show. I'm Kavina Elavarasan, a communication intelligence expert and author of Communication Intelligence for Leaders. I help corporate leaders turn their words into influence. And I'm the host for today, and I'm really, really excited to be here today in the PSAI Talk Show and have one important topic that all of us would want to hear. Before we bring in our guests, I would like to know where are you all joining us today? Wherever you are joining us from, please do drop your city or the country and let's get the chat going. Let's see how far the PSAI community is reaching today. Wonderful. Mahdi says he's from Maldives. Hi, Mahdi. Surat. Wonderful. We have people coming in from Hyderabad as well. Pune, Bangalore. Wow, I can see people joining in from different places. Welcome, everyone, once again. Before we bring in our guests, let me take a moment to introduce the community that brings all of us together today, PSAI, Professional Speakers Association of India. PSAI is a community dedicated to enhancing professional speaking careers globally. PSAI is part of the Global Speakers Federation comprising of 17 national speaking associations worldwide. So, talking about India, in India, PSAI operates across various cities such as Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Vadodara, and also a virtual chapter. And I'm loving all the comments coming through. And I'm seeing somebody coming in from Malaysia as well. Wonderful. Keep it coming. Let's keep the chat going on. So, today we are delighted to have all of you with us on the PSAI Talk Show, a live and an interactive platform where we explore high impact topics in professional speaking area. We are here to hear from experts and exchange ideas and connect with passionate speakers and professionals all across the globe. Now let's talk about today, shall we? Today, we are diving into a topic that is quite literally the buzzword of the moment, the AI powered speaker. But today, we are not just going to simply talk about artificial intelligence. Today, we are going to deep dive and explore something far more practical for all the professional speakers out here. How AI can actually transform the way you prepare, create, market, sell, and build your speaking business. I'm sure you're all ready. Without any further ado, I would love to bring our first guest onto the stage. Our first guest today is Aniket Amdekar. He's someone who doesn't just talk about AI, he works with people to actually implement AI, and that's his spark. He's an AI and cybersecurity expert, and he works with speakers, business owners through AI masterminds, helping people explore practical applications of AI across different areas of work and business. And I must say that I have also personally had the opportunity to learn through his AI mastermind. Please join me in welcoming Aniket Amdekar. Hi, Aniket. Happy to be having you
Hello.
here in the talk show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kavina. Great to be here and great to be a part of to share this virtual stage with you on this talk show today. And I see that people are joining in from Jaipur as well. So definitely the professional speakers of India are joining in this conversation.
Yes, absolutely, Aniket. And I love to see all of these comments coming in. Now, let's bring in our second guest, Mr. Venkatarangan Thirumalai. Our next guest brings a very different and fascinating perspective to this conversation. He's been speaking on stage since 1998, including Microsoft events all through the world and audiences more than 5,000 people. And before I move forward, can I request both of you to mute your microphone so that I see? Yes, thank you very much. So, when we talk about AI helping speakers prepare, we are not talking about someone who's new to the stage. Here, is somebody who has spent decades preparing talks about going through his experience, spontaneity, and technical depth. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Venkatarangan Thirumalai, the founder Catalyst. Hello, sir. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Join us in the conversation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kavina, for having me and for PSAI, my fellow members. I don't see anybody in Chennai, so a bit sad that nobody from Chennai has joined yet, but I'm sure it's raining, so they should be joining a little later, I suppose.
So this is a shout out to all the Chennaiites joining in. If you're there, please do put in a okay. Wow, great to see. We would love to hear from people joining in from Chennai. Right? Great. So before we dig in any further and I tell what are we going to talk about, I would like to request Aniket first and then sir, both of you to share what you want to share with audience for the next 1 minute.
Sure. I think today our focus is going to be about not which tool is the most fanciest. It's going to be about the use cases. I've always believed that when it comes to professional speaking or AI adoption, one should be focused on the use cases. For example, you can say, I want to use AI for my sales management. I want to use it for my content creation for my social media. I want to use it to manage my business, to track all the leads, to build dashboards, right? So if my use case is very clear, in that case, I know which tool to use for this, which tool not to use for this. So getting a bit of clarity on what tool to use for what, and what are the use cases that are possible, I think that's going to be our discussion topic today. Clarity.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aniket. So we are no more going to ask the question, should I use AI? We are now coming with a better question. How can I use AI to better my speaking business, better my speaking journey? Great. Thank you very much. On that note, I would like to invite Mr. Venkatrangan also to share your thoughts.
Yeah. First, a disclaimer. I saw the title AI-powered speaker. I'm not powered by GPU. I'm powered by coffee. In fact, I had my fourth coffee to power through the meeting. So I second what Aniket said on the AI tools. Today, I think last 4 years after ChatGPT, if that is the milestone we taken, today it's not a choice of we using AI. Everybody we have to use AI. It's a question of how do you effectively use, still retain the part that makes us as human and the value we bring on stage. That has to be us. I'll be talking about my experiments with the second brain and LLM wiki and all that, but still, at the end of the day, the value that the listener gets. There is a talk I gave in the weekend. I try to share when appropriately. It's the value I brought in was my story, my experiences, not the great AI prowess or the tool I used. So the fun part is what we bring onto stage. The AI is just the boring part. You are muted, Kavina.
Thank Yes, thank you very much for sharing, Mr. Venkatrangan. So, all of you who are listening to this, you know that we are no more going to talk just about the AI on a top level, but we're going to talk about more of how to use AI in your everyday business. So, bring in your pen and paper and start taking notes. And in the meantime, we will have questions coming in from audience in a little bit. So, keep your questions ready and power through when we open the segment for audience questions. All righty. Now, okay, gentlemen, here's what we are going to do. How are we going to explore the topic today? We are going to go through 5 practical use cases. We'll start with speech writing and preparation and move on to content creation, marketing, sales, and business management. All of these 5 use cases, which are core and essential for speaking business and for all the professional speakers out here. So that's how we will start. And now I would like to start the question on speech preparation. So the first question I would like to ask Aniket. Aniket, so let's start where most of us begin, right? Speaking. So my question to you is, when we talk about creating a keynote, we all start with taking a pen and a pencil, paper and a pencil, and then we start noting down what is a structure, what stories to bring in. So the question to you is, how do we use AI or power through AI to write speech for us. And also, we would love to hear from you. We know that you are a prompting expert. What is the difference between a good AI assisted speech preparation or simply saying to ChatGPT, write me a speech on this particular topic? Your thoughts, please.
Sure, sure. Great question, Kavina, and it's a loaded question. It's a long one, but then the long questions are fun questions. So here is a fun answer. AI can be our idea partner. It can be the sounding board. For example, when you start writing any keynote, you need to build or you need to pick up all the ingredients together. Which stories from your story bank are relevant for this audience? So one thing that I use is there is a feature called deep research. I use deep research feature to identify as much as I can about the target audience. I was recently invited to speak in a multinational bank. So before going there, I did a lot of research on the recent developments in the bank about their industry and what things would be relevant to them, what language they speak, what metaphors work for them. See, metaphors are the value, they are the gems that we collect as speakers. So, which metaphors will be most powerful for them? I think that's truly the first thing that I collected. The second is when you have a story, the same story can have different kinds of messages. So you can actually stretch our imagination by pushing the boundaries of AI, asking what are the different levels of messages that can be derived from a specific story. What kind of references you can have. Now, this is where your company research can come into picture. If I'm talking about taking a risk, and that risk taking culture is something which is going to help your business to grow, was there a risk that their founder had taken, which I get to read in the company history? Right? So, this is where the connections happen, and you can really customize your keynote according to the audience that you're going to meet. What are the things that you should not do? Number one, as you said rightly, don't let the thinking be done by AI. You are the strategist. Let AI be the executioner. Let AI be the one who can add those sprinkles of toppings on your pizza, but you need to build the pizza. It can help you to get right words, but then the original script and the manuscript should come from you. I strongly believe each of us speakers, we have a flavor. We bring in our own style of delivery. And when AI writes that speech for you, all of that emotional connect, that just goes out of the window. Now, anybody can deliver the same speech and they would not have the same kind of impact as well. So, a short answer would be use it as an idea sounding board, use it to customize your keynotes, use it to create new and innovative metaphors and similes, and most importantly, use it to do the deep research for you. That would be a short answer for this.
Great. So Aniket says, you be the strategist and let AI take care of the execution part. Thank you very much, Aniket. I would like to move on and ask Venkatarangan, you've been preparing the talks for decades. So today, what is your workflow when it comes to using AI for your keynote preparation?
Okay, I'll continue from where Aniket left because it's the AI. If everybody uses ChatGPT to write the talk, it's going to be the same talk. As the TEDx or TED guideline says, the talk that you give on a TED platform should be able to. You should only be able to give that talk. It should be you. So there's no point in repeating or telling somebody something else. People could even listen to Notebook LM podcast for that. So how do you bring your soul or your experience into it? So we'll pass that, but I'll explain this in like 3 or 4 examples, very short examples. I'll try to cover it quickly to give an idea. The other day I was going to a dinner, to an entrepreneur dinner, and I got a call from the organizer saying, Venkat, you're going to talk for 2 minutes, the importance of mentorship. And it's an evening thing. I was just looking for some fun and going in, but they asked me to talk for 2 minutes. So I didn't want to tell Entrepreneurship is great, mentorship is great. You all should do all the usual ones. I wanted to share some stories, but I'm driving in the traffic. I didn't have any. I never prepared for this, and sometimes you have this brain freeze. You don't even know what you talked yesterday. So traffic is so bad and all that. So that's when I realized if you have ChatGPT in your phone and if you have CarPlay, just try it out. If you have tried a few months back, it's a bad experience, but now try it out. The ChatGPT, if it's on your phone, it connects onto your car. You can interact with it. The voice interaction is actually very good. So the next 30 minutes of the driving, I was chatting with ChatGPT, give me stories on mentorship. And it gave me first all useless stories that we have heard, all the worn out stories that people have heard more often than me. So after like 10, 15 minutes, I kind of cajoled ChatGPT to say some fun story that I really liked. Then when I said, please, can you email it to me? It said, I can't do it. You should write it. I said, I'm not driving. All that fiasco later. Luckily, I got 2 lines that I really wanted to say, which I also know about. What I picked up was stories that I already know, but it kind of reminded me and I picked it up. It was so useful, and that 2 minutes was valuable to the audience. I was happy giving that talk. So that, like Aniket was saying, it is an ideation I was using in voice mode. So that's something really useful. I don't recommend every talk you do this. This is for an emergency situation. That's number one. Number two, I'm not a trained speaker. I didn't attend any professional training on speaking. So though I've been talking for almost 30 years, I always felt it's the technology, it's the content, and how are you handling the audience. That's what is important than the theatrics and the presentation and all that. But being in PSAI for more than a decade now, or at least a decade now, I think PSAI, it's about 8 years anyways. So I realized it's also the act and the way you deliver a talk is equally important. The framework is important. The tools you use are equally as important as the content. That's where all these AI tools are important for me. For every talk, like Aniket was saying, now apart from the ideation, I said, is there a framework for this topic that I can use? Famous speakers, can you give me that framework? Obviously, we'll do a Google search. It will recommend a book or a PSAI talk we'll attend, and somebody will recommend a great book. We'll buy the book, but we don't read it. So I have enough of those books which I have never read. But this, when I ask ChatGPT or Claude, give me a framework for this talk which I can use from experts on this situation that I'm getting into. It is wonderful. Try it if you haven't tried. It's one of those best well-kept secrets in AI. It's going to give you a framework. Oh, for this talk, it's the three-step approach. You have to do a hook. You have to have a center highlight. You have to have a
Okay, I think we are losing out on Venkatarangan's further response. But what I loved is that he was talking about the voice chat of ChatGPT. That's something which is very new. Thank you so much. Would you like to continue, Mr. Venkatarangan?
Yeah. So that framework is really useful. The third thing is I think a couple of weeks back I gave a full demo for PSA on using a second brain. How do you build your own second brain? It's based on LLM Wiki. The short answer is you just go to Claude Code or any of these coworks, etc. I'll give all your links to your blogs, your works that you've written. Ask Cowork to create on Andrew Karpathy's LLM Wiki. It's going to do a lot of work. You're going to spend at least some $50, $100 of tokens. It's going to build your local knowledge base. Now, every time I asking it to ideate, it is starting with my past 25 years of work. So I'm sure there is a recording of that talk you can listen, but it's just a one-line prompt. Lastly, I leave with this. The other thing that AI is very useful for my content preparation is for these exercises and handouts. That's the most boring part of preparing a talk. We all love to talk, but then when we want to give an exercise or a handout or a questionnaire, Claude Design is now really good. You can give your entire talk script and pointers and say, for this, give me a handout. Again, it was a lifesaver the other week. They just 2 days heads up, they asked me to do a session, but I had to give a handout. Importance of handouts is, again, I learned from PSAI Talk. So there Claude was super useful. So 4 things. Let me just recap. The last one is the handout. The second one from the last is your LLM Wiki, the second brain. Third is come up with use these frameworks. Ask it to tell the frameworks for you. And the first one is your ChatGPT on your CarPlay.
That was brilliant and fully loaded as well. Thank you so much, both of you, helping us understand how do we get started on the writing area for the professional speakers. Now, quickly, let's move into the second use case, which is content creation, right? Because every speaker today is also expected to be a content creator, from our LinkedIn posts, carousels, newsletters, videos, and every bit of what we are doing on the social media. So suddenly, sometimes I feel like I'm running a mini media company. So that's how it feels. So now let us look at how we can use AI to build our content. So I would like to go with Aniket again. Aniket, the question to you is, let's say if I have one keynote or one big idea, how can I use or get AI to help me turn that one idea or one keynote into an entire ecosystem of content?
Sure. Excellent question, Kavina. See, one keynote is about that one topic, that one message that you are trying to share. And people perceive messages in different ways. There are some people who are visual in nature, there are some people who are auditory in nature. And that's where AI can help us to build content which is suiting to their needs. Now, let me share a quick tip with everybody who is listening. The LinkedIn algorithm keeps changing. And I recently learned that now the LinkedIn algorithm loves content that is saved by users, which means if you create an image, somebody opens the image and saves it. You create a carousel as a PDF and somebody downloads that PDF. LinkedIn says, oh, wow, Kavina, you have done a great job. Let me push your profile to a few thousand more people. So if you know how the LinkedIn algorithm works, you can play the tunes accordingly, and that really helps you to amplify the effect. Okay. Now, content is different kinds of content. I recently learned this from one of our speakers from Bangalore. Her name is Raksha. She said, one type of content is discover me. Second kind of content is trust me. And third kind of content is buy from me. All right. Now, 60% of your content should be about your discovery. 30% of the content should be about your trust building. If you got an award, you spoke at an event, or you received some recognition, you published an article. And then the last 10% is buy from me. Now, in each of these, there are different ways in which you can build the content. But then again, coming back to strategy, we define the strategy of what's going to happen in the next 30 days. You should build a content calendar that from now until the next 30 days or even 60 days, what are the main events that are going to happen? Is there going to be a National Science Day, which connects very well with your message? So then you can create an image around that, you can create a carousel around that, you can create a podcast around that. Did you know that AI can now create beautiful videos for you? Notebook LM, a free tool, can help you to create marvelous videos, and the level of quality it has is simply too good for a free tool. So what you can do is get the right kind of content and have different kinds of use cases. Now, let me give you an example. Now, I run these masterminds for business owners. So how can business owners use Notebook LM to create LinkedIn content, one stream of content for me? How can business users or owners use Notebook LM to create an Excel sheet for their profit and loss? Another stream of content. So the same tool, different kinds of use cases. As I said earlier, you need to maintain the use cases and keep them the main thing. As long as the main thing remains the main thing, everything else falls into place. And then keeping a track of what is working for you, that's also important. Not all content works in all platforms, and you should put your efforts where your audience is. So for me, my domain is AI, cybersecurity, data privacy. All of my audience members are there on LinkedIn. They are not going to be on Instagram. So my focus is purely on LinkedIn, not much on other channels. So your focus should be where your audience is. So getting an understanding of your audience, being obsessed with your audience, that is what we need to learn. So this is one way in which the content can be created.
That was brilliant, Aniket. You started talking about the first thing that Aniket says is that know the algorithm of your platform, right? And then discover me, trust me, buy me, and explore and exploit each and every tool that we will have to have. And most importantly, keep the main thing the main thing. Thank you very much, Aniket. We will now move on and hear from Venkatarangan. So we would like to hear from you because for 25 years of writing and creating blogs, presentations, books, and all other material, we would want to hear from you as to how speakers can use AI to create content faster, also without ending up feeling or sounding generic with AI created content. How do we take care of that?
Nice question. So, one, see, again, Aniket touched on a very important point on know your audience and different types of content that you have to give. That's like super important. We have this tool, we have a genie with our hands like AI, and we all like to write about everything. In fact, I got into this I write a lot in Tamil in Facebook. I have written 2 books. So I'm not a great writer in Tamil. I don't write fiction. I don't know. So it's non-fiction. But then with AI, I feel I can write fiction. But then I did write, and it came out so badly that I realized that's not my style. So AI is not going to suddenly make you good just because you have the AI tool. So no, the most important place where you can use AI is to figure out whether what you are writing or what you are thinking is appropriate for that tool or for the audience, or is it something that you need to say. Sometimes you don't need to say something on Facebook, for example. So there AI can be your best critic. We talk about what it can be useful to, how you can use to create content. It's also important to realize where you shouldn't use it and what you shouldn't post. That's number one. So use this AI tool to first ideate and see whether is this content worthwhile to talk. Sometimes we read a news and immediately there is a reaction we want to do. Maybe for your audience, it's going to be negative impact for you. We all climb this 5 steps, 10 steps, create an audience for newsletter, do all this in Instagram, and a post which we may not have put. I'm not talking about a bad post. I'm not talking about a politically insensitive or a wrong post that's going to get you in trouble. No, nothing of those sort. We're all smart people. We know that. A post which is going to silently damage your image is something we don't know. That's where AI can be useful. How you can do that is if you are using Claude, or many of the other tools are also having this thing, but if you're using Claude, you can ask Claude to write you a skill. You don't need to know how to write a skill. You do a chat in Claude and you figured out, oh, this thread has come out really well. We both are in synchronization and we have come with something. Then ask Claude, can you change this save this into a skill? It will save it. The next time when you ask a similar question, Claude is going to automatically trigger that skill. And it's going to save you a lot of tokens and time because it already knows what it is. How do I use in the previous thing, drawing on back what I said? Chat with Claude, give an idea, have a long conversation with it. And Claude would have said, do this, don't talk, and all that. Say, turn it into a skill. Next time you have an idea, ask Claude as your thing, is this idea worth it? It's going to pick up that skill. And then tell you, last time you said this is what we decided, and this is the content, so this can be the similar thing. It will save you a lot of time. And that is where, see, in content creation, we all can write. That's not the problem. The problem is to decide what to write. We have lots of ideas. Which one are we proceeding? Which one are we throwing out? That's where Claude skills can be really useful. The second is understanding your target audience. This content is for which target audience? Aniket touched upon that in a bit, but that's something you need to drill it down, understand more, because some content is better you just say it in one line. It's very difficult, believe me. 30 years I've written a blog, to say it in one line is super, super difficult. I've written books. My editor always comes back in Tamil and says he's a very professional award-winning author. He says, Venkat, you're writing something which should be one line as one paragraph, sometimes as one whole chapter. He will show it to me in one line. That's a master at work. If you can get your AI to help you on that, nothing like it. See, this whole conversation, this answer I could have given in 4 words, but I'm taking like 4 paragraphs. That's where AI can help you. You keep ideating with it, and it's not going to tire at all. You tell your spouse after the second time, my wife says, I don't want to listen to you anymore. She doesn't listen to any of my talks. She says, I know what you're going to say. Okay, so AI will keep doing. So the first thing is this a talk? Is this something you should share? That's number one. It can act as your gatekeeper. I have, for almost 2 years now, all the blog posts I've written, I've given it to ChatGPT and said, is there anything? I write movie reviews and all that. Am I revealing the plot too much? Am I anywhere being insensitive? Today, you got to be very careful, even in describing the hero or the heroine, or what they are wearing, what they are not wearing, everything you got to be super careful. So there I have this, so I don't need to worry. ChatGPT will say, oh, this is perfectly fine, go ahead. And the second is you can use it for identifying your target audience, whether this topic is relevant, not relevant, which platform. We again have a urge that you write one, you post it in Facebook, you post it in Instagram, you post it in family WhatsApp, you post it in LinkedIn, you do a video, you bore that content with that. Some content has to be just one-liner in Twitter. That's about it. Some content has to be a newsletter. That is very difficult to identify. AI can help you. Last, borrowing again on Aniket on the Notebook LM. If you have not used this feature, again, if we all use Notebook LM for podcast, it can create a podcast for you and all that. But the best feature for me as a speaker for content is that I write my content draft. This is my pointers. This is what it is I'm going to talk and all that. I give it to Notebook LM and say, give it to me as two people. One who's extremely critical about this talk, saying Venkatarangan is stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And the second person says, okay, this talk is okay, but he can improve it this way. So I have got two critics doing the same podcast, same Notebook LM, nothing new. Two people now talking about the topic that I've given, the worst parts of it, why I shouldn't talk it, and one person will be talking what are good things that I can tweak. And then I put it as in my headphone and do my walking when I've got absolute full concentration on it. You take it from me, it is the best criticism or best way to polish your talk. So that's another tool. Again, these are simple tools, but if you tried it, they can be very, very effective.
That was brilliant. Two insights that I could very clearly take. Use AI as a gatekeeper, use AI as a critic, right? And embellish the work that we are doing in. So now I want to take a pause from our conversation for a moment and bring the audience back in. We've been hearing what Aniket and Venkatarangan are doing with AI. So I would like to know, what are you all doing with AI? What is your favorite tool that you currently use? Was it ChatGPT or Claude? And we heard Notebook LM from both of our experts. We would love to hear from the audience. Please start throwing in what is your favorite AI tool, right? To understand what is going around. Now, with that, we will slowly start taking in the questions from the audience. Now, I would like to tune in and go to the next use case that we have out here, the sales and lead generation, because that's a word that we are not very comfortable with as speakers. We love speaking, we love creating, we love helping people. But eventually, when somebody has to say that, hey, I would like to work with you, how do we get there? So my question goes to Venkatarangan. So the question is that, from your experience with founders and working with businesses, where can AI actually support the sales journey of a speaker?
See, it's going to vary depending upon your target audience. For me, it's very niche audience. The numbers are not huge. I know who I'm going after, or the referrals and all that. So it's more for me on the later stage in the lead pipeline of the proposal stage or having a conversation stage. Like Aniket was talking about, it's super useful for me to do a research about a prospective customer, or who I can ask to give me an introduction to somebody else that I want to target. So those are specific uses in which I'm looking at. I don't have a first-hand experience of using these tools for mass marketing or for lead generation per se. but there are those tools which are coming up. The one of the ways in which whatever tool you are using, um, uh, the ways I have found out it is from even from LinkedIn analysis and all that, to analyze this and give us inputs. I'm not a ad expert. Even when I ran my business, I had my sales team to manage it and all that. So when I'm running a Google ads or a YouTube ads or a LinkedIn ad, is it working? Is it not working? I have no clues. But with AI, I'm able to give those reports and give it and say, is this working? It's not working. That's something I have found out to be very useful for me. There are many professional tools, and I guess Aniket will be covering some of those tools, which you can subscribe to them and they can do more of those lead generation work if you are looking at uh, spreading that for a larger audience. One tip, which is not directly on what you asked, but I like to share this tip. If you have again a Claude subscription, I'm sure you can find the equivalent of this in ChatGPT and Copilot and all that. There's a plugin called Search Fit SEO in Claude. You need to have a Claude subscription. Just look out for this Search Fit SEO, as in search engine optimization. There is a skill which is called A-visibility. If you install it, just go to Claude, search for Search Fit SEO plugin, install it. It's a free plugin. You just need to have the Claude subscription. And then you do a /A-visibility and then say, here is my website. Do a complete analysis of this and give a report. And it's going to give you something. You can start chatting with it and go. What it does today, I'm sure you can listen to more on those YouTubes on the importance of this. There are other experts talking more on this. The idea is we have gone past SEO, gone search engine optimization, though that is important. It's Google search engine optimization is still important. But then now we don't look at the blue links in Google. We just search and the AI overview gives you something, you read and you get out. But now how do you be present on that AI overview? Is that Google's AI engine or ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever you're using should be able to look at your content. Now, what this AI visibility search, there are many ways. This is just one tool. I'm giving you an example. Are the AI engines able to see you? And how are the AI engines understanding who you are? That's like once I did this report, my blog, which has been 25 years, I saw how bad it was being performing from an AI tools perspective. ChatGPT, Perplexity didn't probably even know about that blog, or it was featuring very badly. And I had a personal blog, Venkatarangan.com. I had the Founder Catalyst, my professional. And this report said you are confusing both the brands. People don't know who we are. That's the worst thing, like I said. We are doing all this effort to reach a prospective customer, and then I confuse him in that AA overview. Venkat is a person who writes about movies, foods, and Tamil books, and he also does AA talks and this, and prospective customer gets confused. That's where it's going to then, if you keep chatting with this skill, it's going to give you examples. How do I differentiate these two? It gave me steps. Step one, do this. Step two, do this. It took me a couple of days to fix whatever it said, but it's something that we should have earlier spent a couple of lakhs giving it to an external agency, fixing it, and they will very likely do a bad job. But here I can be sure that we have done a good job. So this is just one tool. There are many tools you can search for it. You also ask, or without logging in, go to any of these AI tools, without logging in, ask your name, ask for whatever keywords that you're working on, see whether you're featuring, what it is telling you about this. That's what is very, very important in the discoverability thing. And it gave me all these steps. It was, even if you have never touched a website before, Claude is going to give you very, very clear steps on what you need to do. Yes, somebody asked in the comment. Yes, it is called Search Fit SEO plugin. Correct.
Search Fit SEO plugin. Wow. Now let's get into the AI engines, right? That's what our expert had shared with us. And also feedback on ads is something that he shared. Now, very quickly, let us move on and listen from Aniket on the sales aspect. Aniket, from your experience working with various businesses, where can AI genuinely help speakers generate leads and find potential clients?
Sure. I think AI can help them to first define that client very clearly. What's the persona? If you are going to start from today to start using AI for your sales, I would like you to go back and identify the past 20 to 30 invoices that you have sent. Put them into an Excel sheet. That will tell you who your customers are, what is their designation. Is it the HR head that you hires you? Is it a conference organizer? That will tell you who is actually hiring you. If you are just getting started, in that case, who would be hiring you? Do some research on that. And now you can ask AI to find such people on LinkedIn. You can find such people using there is a tool called Apollo.ai. Apollo.ai can be used for lead generation. Now, when you send them an email, what is the response to that email? Nowadays, all of these email tools, for example, Gmail, gives you an ability to run an agent and keep looking out for specific things. So you can create a scheduled task in Google or in Gemini, which will keep reading your mailbox. And the moment you have a response from any of the clients, in that case, it's going to pop up that response to you. So a lot of these things can actually be automated with this. That will be my short answer.
That
Kavina,
is
can I
great.
just take a question before I see a comment? Can
Yes.
I take that? Okay.
Yes, please.
There's a question from Ramana. Strike rate would be very low when we automate mass marketing. Absolutely
Yeah.
right. That's what Aniket was starting to say. If you just ask it these tools and you say, do this 1,000 mails and it's going 10,000 mails, 1 lakh, whatever, the strike rate is going to be very, very low. And all these LinkedIn is starting to figure out there is enough and more AI slop. Everybody giving what do you call patronizing
Yeah.
recommendations on what to use, what not to use. Your whole page is becoming useless. So absolutely, strike rates are going to be very, very low. One of the things you can do is ensure there is a bit of you in any mass marketing that you do. A story about you, a failure of you, a success. Again, success don't work that way. Failures do work. It has to be genuine. People have to
Right.
feel you. You can have a generic scaffolding, but then put something of you into that mass mailer. If you do that and keep it short, and if you are targeting Gen Z, please be absolutely brief. Come to the point straight away. Your first line should say, what are they getting into? Then the message. That will be my short answer.
One point I want to add on the LinkedIn reach out part. Whenever you are sending any message to somebody on LinkedIn, your first line becomes the subject. So don't start your message on LinkedIn with, hello, Mr. Sundaram, how are you doing? Because that becomes the subject line and it is not really useful. So if you want to put a hook, that hook should be your first line in your LinkedIn message. Use this and I'm sure it's going to change the rate at which you start getting replies on LinkedIn. Okay, I think we are getting a lot of audience questions.
Nice.
So
Nice that
Kavina, audience is
we are
competing
getting
with
some
you.
questions. I love that. The questions, the way they are answering the questions that we are asking. Can we have few questions from the audience, please? All right. Give examples of Discover Me content. Aniket, over to you.
Yes, sure. Discover Me content could be about industry insight. So I'm into cybersecurity. So if Data Security Council of India has published a new report and I read a post about it, that's a Discover Me. RBI just created a new cybersecurity framework at the end of July. When I make a post about it, that's Discover Me as well. Myths, breaking a myth that is there in the minds of the audience, that's an awesome way to discover me. For example, a lot of people feel that if I keep doing CFBR, 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 I am very much active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn hates the word called CFBR. It's going to deprioritize your posts. So stop doing CFBR. I hope that helped to answer that question in a quick way.
Thank you,
What
Aniket.
about
What
plagiarism and
about
hallucinations?
plagiarism and hallucinations? How to identify and curb it? I keep it open
If I can take this
for the
one,
experts to answer.
my first response to this is always treat AI like your assistant, like an intern. Whatever output the intern gives you, never ever be happy with the first version of the output. Always say you can do better. Can you make it better? Can you make it shorter? Can you make it crisper? Can you make the tone more human like? All of these are the levers that you can play with and make the content better. And especially when you are going to put anything on the internet, it is your name on the line. So we can see AI is saving us hours and hours of research time. We can spend 15 minutes just to do a proofreading of that content. So I think our role is now changed to a master proofreader than a master writer. So that would be about plagiarism and hallucinations.
I'll uh, I'll continue. That's a correct, nice way of putting it, Aniket. I'll give an example. Those who are in PSA who have heard me speak in the last 2 3 years, I've heard this example, but it's a live example. The first time I wrote my book, The Founder Catalyst, about 2 years back, I kept revising it for almost 6 7 months. At one stage, it came out really well. I couldn't believe that I have written. It was my blog post. I started as my compilation of my blog post and expanded into a bigger book. At one stage, I found out it's come out really well. I resisted the urge to send it to my publisher, slept on it for a week. Then something stuck, and I gave it to one of the other AI tools. I had used, I guess, Gemini to, this is about a year and a half back, to polish it. And then I gave it to, I think, ChatGPT. The tool doesn't matter. ChatGPT came back and said, this seems to be not in your style. Then when I drilled down and picked up a paragraph and kept searching, like Aniket was saying, proofreading, I figured out that wherever I was talking about hiring best people, this is the way you hire people, for example, it was replacing my words, my sentences from Harvard Business Review's exact quotes. AI is doing its job. It's saying you are writing about hiring the best people. Who's the authority on this subject? It is Harvard Business Review. So why keep your words? Let me replace. And then when I was talking about cash flow, it picked up from McKinsey and all that. If I had published that book, it would have been complete plagiarism, and there is nothing of me in that old book. So, like he said, like Aniket was saying, when you proofread, you will get that feeling it's not you. That's when you got to drill it down. Then what I did, it was actually a blessing in disguise. Every chapter, which was very generic when I had written, I started putting my own experience in every chapter. Then it stayed grounded because this is my story, my experience. I have lived. There is no way McKinsey or Harvard Business Review are going to be experiencing this. Then the book turned out to be grounded, and then it revised. Then nowadays in Claude, you can write a skill to say, reduce this, be more grounded, have another thing to review whatever you have done. Best is if you are in doubtful and it's super important content, write it and revise it in one AI, put it in another AI and ask it to check for plagiarism and hallucination. It will help you a little bit.
True, true. And this whole phenomenon is called the AI value chain. And the AI value chain works really well. I think there were some questions on CFBR. Let me just quickly clarify on that. So CFBR is, let's say Kavina makes a post and I want to be active on LinkedIn. So I simply click on repost and I sent it, or I simply will put a comment called CFBR. What it means is when I put a comment on a post, all of my network should get to see that Aniket commented on this, and they will also come and watch Kavina's post. But then it doesn't work. And what I was sharing is that just put in that one word called CFBR, LinkedIn algorithm is now actively deprioritizing those profiles. So do not do CFBR comments.
Yeah, it was worth it. Thank you. Thank you both. There's one more question. Which is the best tool for creating presentations?
Sir, you want to go next? Take this one.
Okay, if you have patience and you want to tweak, go with Claude Designer. You don't have patience, then even Microsoft Copilot presentation is good. You don't want to spend any time, you just want to pay something, Gamma app is still the easiest and best looking slides will come from Gamma.
So one couple of points I want to add. If you want to get the ideas or inspiration for some really mind-blowing content, create the presentation with Notebook LM, but don't use it. Use those ideas and get it recreated. You can also invest. If you build a lot of content all the time, you can invest in a tool as well. And there are tools which will help us to build the presentations. So Claude is pretty good, but Claude's presentations now have come up with a templated format. You can easily spot a Claude presentation because they all come in the same font, the same slide structure. And for many people, that's a big turn off. They think that you have not put a lot of efforts. So then you need to actually put some effort to customize that presentation.
Done. Great. So there's one last question from audience. Can AI understand how I think and not what I ask for?
I think it's the ability to do the inference and read between the lines. And as we discussed earlier, when you have had enough chats with ChatGPT or Claude, with Gemini, whichever is your favorite AI tool, it has now understood what topics you speak about, what things you dislike, what are the things you prefer, right? So when you ask a question, some tools have the ability to go beyond the immediate context and really look the question behind the question, but not every tool does that. In my experience, ChatGPT is decent in doing this. Claude has been a bit more literal in my experience.
Yeah, if I can add, it's correct.
Wonderful.
Go for the paid versions of these tools. In fact, the free versions are going to go away, in my opinion, pretty soon. All the Airtel Geo deals are coming to an end, and they will increase the price. So you will think ChatGPT is not giving you the correct answers. In fact, ChatGPT free is purposefully not giving you its best work and pushing you to the paid versions. That's number one. Number two, as Aniket was talking, stick to one tool. The problem now I have is I have 4-5 different subscriptions because I do a channel on Tamil on AI. So we keep experimenting with various AI tools. Sometimes I'll work on a talk in one tool, forget where I worked. I have to keep switching. That's the worst part, worst time wasting thing. But stick to one tool, keep chatting with it. And as I said, try out this LLM wiki. Once you have built this LLM wiki or the second brain with your work, you'll be amazed by your past work being picked up for you, and it's going to keep reminding you things of your talk which you have forgotten, or it knows your style from the past work.
Couple of points I want to add. As professional speakers, we have a budget, and we should keep a budget for training. We should have a budget for AI tools as well. And at least 2 tools we should have. One chat tool we should have, maybe ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, and one tool for content creation, and that is Canva. Hands down, it is the best, and it gives you access to so much stuff. So Canva plus one of these tools is going to be the power combo for you on this one. And if you want to do an experiment today, at the end of the day, go and ask AI, I want you to describe me as a personality and write a blog about me. Please do it. Everybody who is listening, whichever apps you are using, go and ask them to describe you, your personality, your family, your history, and understand what all things it knows about you. It's a fascinating exercise.
Kavina, with your permission, let me just ask a question to the people in the audience. How many of you are talking in non-English as in your speeches? If you can comment, it will be useful. The language, I speak in Tamil, any of you in Hindi, Marathi, whatever, please. If you can put it, it will be useful. I'll answer in a bit why I'm asking it. The other day, like this weekend talk I did, it was a very young audience and I was asked to speak in Tanglish, Tamil plus English. And your normal transcription tools are not going to transcribe because on the spot I had to change my topic and it came out pretty well. I wanted to capture it as my notes later, but it was in Tamil and English. No standard tool would have transcribed it for me. That's when, as he was talking, luckily I had budgets to spend. I had Claude Code. I gave it a Claude Code and said, here is my file. Now transcribe it. It came back and said, this is Tamil. Whatever I'm using free tool, it's not actually working. Do you mind spending 11 Labs API? And I said, how much it is going to cost? It's going to cost you 40 cents, which is 40 rupees. Had it not told me, I would have spent hours of my time. It's just 40 rupees. I said, yes, I got $10 worth of 11 Labs. It did all the work. I didn't write any coding. And in the next 5-10 minutes, it did a beautiful transcription of my Tamil and English notes into a file that I could work more. I'm seeing Telugu, Tamil and all that. So if you don't put a lot of money in these tools, don't give a credit card without limits. then you will blame me. Just put $5, $10, try it out and see how it works.
Well, thank you all. The audience had a lot of questions. For those of you who have questions and it is not answered, we will answer after the live show. Now, gentlemen, we've been very serious about the conversation. Now, let's get into a rapid fire round. I would love for your answers to be short in a 1 word or 2 words, right? Aniket, quickly to you. What is your favorite AI tool right now?
Favorite AI tool is Claude.
All right. One AI tool you think is underrated?
Oh, Read.ai.
Great. AI for productivity or AI for growth?
AI for growth.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Aniket, for that quick answers. We will move on and hear from Venkatarangan. Your favorite part of preparing a keynote?
Is the preparation.
All right. AI will replace speakers, myth or reality?
Myth. I think we will, as professional speakers, we'll be able to move on to more value and premium, because the AI will make everybody, it'll become a commodity. So value we bring in will become premium.
Wonderful. One quick thing that people should not never outsource to AI.
Write your entire talk, do the thinking for you.
Wonderful. Great. That brings us to the end of the conversation. Aniket and Venkatarangan, thank you so much for bringing in such huge expertise, practical and implementation focused perspective. We absolutely loved the conversation and took away a lot of key takeaways. On that note, I have few people very special to thank today. A very special thank you to the PSAI Talk Show team, Mithil, Vijay, Sonali, Sandhya, for making this possible. And to all of you hearing and watching us, thank you so much for staying active on the chat window. I encourage all of you to take a look at the PSAI membership and benefits, and also look at PSS. What is the event all about? Stay connected, keep learning, and we will see you in next episode of PSAI Talk Show. Thank you all.